This is Linux, make the switch.
Episode number 13, Configuring YaST.
Hosted by Travis.
And Brandon. You can email us at
linuxmaketheswitch@gmail.com.
Also check out our forums, linuxmaketheswitch.com/forum. Hello everybody, welcome back to Linux Make the Switch. Alright, we're going to do something in SUSE. We're going to look at YaST. So we're going to go to the menu right here. Going to go to System, Control Center, YaST. By the way, Travis is not here again, as you can tell. He was supposed to come home last weekend. He did, but wait, maybe it was 2 weekends ago. I can't remember now, but he was busy and he couldn't come over, so we couldn't tape another episode. So you're stuck with just me again. Okay, there's a couple of things I want to show you in YaST, because people are asking about it. First off, you can do an online update, which you can go ahead and you can update it. Yeah, pretty much it's kind of self-explanatory. Get a list of mirrors, and then you can choose your installation source, and next, and all that other stuff. Board update. Software management. This is where we can go ahead and add new software if we don't want to install from source. Then installation source is where we install the operating system from. Either you can change it to add like another, if you have CDs, you can change it to the DVD if you downloaded the DVD. It's kind of basic. Same thing for installation directory. That's where you installed it to. Again, not all that difficult. Media check. Now what media check does is it'll actually check the disks to make sure that everything is fine with them. It'll run what's called either an MD5 sum check on it. It'll check to make sure that the CD is actually good, so when you install you don't get any errors, hopefully. Then patch CD update is if you want to patch your CD. Again, it's kind of self-explanatory. I don't know how else to put it. And then system update to update your system. Let's say if you have a disk, you have, let's say, because 10.2 is coming out very soon. If you have those disks, you can put the disks in and do the system update there, and you don't lose anything. And then we also have what's the virtual machine installation, XCN. That's just pretty much another VMware type deal. Okay, then we're going to go down to the hardware tab. Hardware tab is where we configure all of our hardware stuff. For example, we have our Bluetooth, CD-ROM devices, disk controllers, graphics cards and monitors, hardware information, hard drives, infrared, joystick, keyboard, mouse, printer, scanner, sound, TV card. Everything is kind of easy to configure in here. It's just point and click. You don't have to do anything too overly complicated. That's pretty much it for the hardware. And if you're having issues with hardware, a good thing to check out is the hardware information. It'll tell you, like, see it's probing right now, all the hardware, and it'll tell you exactly what's on your system and all that. Support that. Okay, now we're going to go to the system information. We have /etc/sysconfig editor. We don't really want to mess with that. It edits the system config files, and if you don't know anything about it, it's not very good to go ahead and edit it. The next thing that we have is a bootloader, which generally it will be Grub. Sometimes it can be another program called Lilo, I believe it's pronounced. And you can go ahead and configure the bootloader. You can either add in, let's say you installed another operating system and it did not update itself in Grub or Lilo, you can go ahead and go in there and update it yourself. But that's a little bit more advanced. Next we can create a boot or rescue floppy. Pretty much this is a startup disk as in Windows. It's very simple. Date and time. Set the date and time. LVM, we don't deal with that much. Logical volume management, it's about hard drives. And then languages, if you want to learn another language and use that language constantly, go ahead and switch your language right there. I don't see why you'd want to do it, but it's there. Then PCI device drivers. That's for all like your PCI sound cards, your network interface cards, any other card that you have in your PCI slot, and it'll have information for it there. The partitioner is a program which partitions up your hard drives. You had a feel for that when you installed any of the Linux distros. You went ahead and you split up your partitions, so you have a Windows partition if you want to continue to use Windows. Then you also have a partition for Linux, and then also a swap partition. The swap partition is pretty much your page file in Windows. It acts as extra RAM if needed. Our next little thing we have is power management. Okay, up next we have the power management. It's for power management if you're using a laptop, that kind of stuff. Then power tweak, don't really need to deal with. Profile manager, we don't really need to deal with. System backup, backs up your system. System restoration, restores your system. System services, which is your run level editor. You don't really need to mess with this right now. You can mess with it to add programs on your startup and stuff like that. We don't really mess with our run level if we're new to Linux because we really don't want to mess up our system. Next we have network devices. We have our DSL, fax, ISDN, modem, network card, phone, answering machine. Just basic stuff. If you have a network card, like an Ethernet card, you more than likely just mess with a network card. If you have a modem, mess with the modem settings. And with modem settings, there is some issues with modems. They're called Win modems. They're modems that only have drivers for Windows, and they only work under Windows. You have to do a little bit of tweaking in order to get those to work. But if you have any questions on it, you can always check the forums or do a quick Google search. Probably easily get you the information that you need. Next we have network services. These are all the services that are running on a network, like a DHCP server, a DNS server, web server, Samba server, FTP, TFTP. Most of the stuff, unless you really want to start getting into it, you're not going to mess with that much. You might mess with the Samba server and the Samba client. What Samba is it allows you to access file sharing, Windows file sharing. That's all it really is. Then if you want to set proxies, you can do it through here, or if you're using Firefox, you should already know how to do that. Remote administration, that is very similar to the Windows program. Can't think of the name of it. Remote assistance. There we go. Yeah, remote assistance. It's all the same kind of thing. It's like a VNC, virtual network client. That's pretty much it for the. Well, you can configure your web server, your HTTP server, if you want to add one of those. If you have, we can go later on. We're gonna actually go in depth in most of this stuff to set up some of the stuff on different distros. Next, we have Novell App Armor. I haven't really messed with this all that much. If anybody knows much more about it, they feel free to, post it up on our forums, and I'll make an episode or two about it. I haven't used it. I don't see a need to use it. Yeah, that's all I really got for that one. Security and users. Group management, user management, local security, and firewall. Basic stuff here. You can go user management. You can go ahead and create new users, delete users, change users' passwords, login information, whether or not they can log into the system. Group management is you can create, similar in Windows, how you can do like the administrative groups, power users, guests, that kind of thing. Firewall. That should be really self-explanatory, and social local security. Next we're going to jump over to miscellaneous. And we have in here a couple of things. You you might want to the view startup log if you're having issues with hardware. View startup log is a good program to use that will show you your startup log to see exactly what's going on, like any error messages or anything like that. You could also use a shell program called DMESG, and it pretty much shows your startup information. View system log, again you're viewing your log from when your system started up. And auto installation, like these other things on here are pretty much self-explanatory. And that is it for Linux Make the Switch episode number 13, YaST Control Center. You know, trying to help you out with YaST because people are having questions on it. And until next time, make the switch.